Good evening. I'd like to thank you for being patient with us. It is 6:09. We would like to call this Brunswick City Commission regular scheduled commission meeting for Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 to order. If we could please all stand for our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please bow. Father God, we thank you for the time that we get to come together. We thank you for the changing of the seasons. We thank you for a little warmer weather and a time to be able to spend with each other outside. We thank you for the business of the city that we've come together to do. We ask that you please bless us with the wisdom and watch over us. Bless our city. In the name of your son, Jesus Christ, we do pray. Amen. Pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic which is one nation, under God, visible, liberty and justice. Moving on, I think it's interesting that we have a commission meeting on April 15th, which is tax day. So I hope everyone has gotten their taxes done. If not, apply for the extension. We like to make sure you have all the information possible that you can. With that, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda and the adoption of the April 15th, 2026 regular scheduled meeting agenda. Is there any addendums or subtractions?
Mr. Mayor, I have one addendum I'd like to make.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add under items to consider for approval, we'll call it item 5A, a review of the alcohol beverage license at 4420 Altamont Avenue.
Second.
Hearing a first and a second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Hearing none, the motion passes and the item is added. Is there any addendum or subtraction or movements that we need to have before we move forward? If hearing none, I know we would executive session to discuss some of the things that we have on the agenda may need to be moved after the approval of the agenda. I apologize.
Yeah, so I don't think it's an agenda item change. We would make a motion to
Okay,
approve the agenda as amended, and then we'll adjourn to executive.
appreciate that.
Has executive session been moved to the front though? That would need to take place.
Then
And it would be for the purpose of discussing records exempt under OCGA 50-14-3B4. And I've provided that to the clerk.
provided that to the clerk, and we will open it for a motion as stated by the city attorney. Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to add.
I'm gonna say we can't add personal to the discussion. That's fine. We're moving executive session to the front, but I think specific to the motion has to do with a specificity around us hearing from our police department. So I want to make sure and ensure that we get that motion right correctly. And then in addition to that motion, I think there are some additional things that our city attorney would like to discuss to us in executive session, which has to do with
If anything, I would have litigation.
and we can add personnel. With that as a motion, hearing the first, I want to get a repeat on city attorney Corey.
I can repeat it.
All right,
So-
good deal.
I make a motion to move executive session from the end of our agenda item 10 up to the very top above the public comment. And that for purposes of discussing records exempt under OCGA 50-14-3B4.
Along with litigation.
Well, that's the read.
No,
It would have to name all of the reasons in that motion.
Litigation and.
Yep. Hearing that as a first, do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing a first and a second, all those in favor show by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion is passed. With that, I will open it for a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Hearing a first, do I hear a second? Hearing a first and a second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes, and we are going into executive session.
Well, that was the adoption.
Motion to adjourn to executive session.
We'll
If there
open
is
it
a motion, there would
I
need to be.
apologize. We're opening for a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn to executive session.
Hearing a first, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Hearing a first and a second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, we are adjourned to executive session. Thank you. We have returned from executive session. No decisions were made, so no decisions were made there. We will move on to our public comment period, and we will turn it over to City Clerk Atkinson.
Mayor, there's no one present for public comment tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. With that, we will move on to recognitions, presentations. Give me 1 second. I see we have, Mr. Calvin Kinney is always signed up. I've seen his name 2 or 3 times. I want to say I've met Mr. Calvin Kinney probably 4 or 5 times. And so even if he doesn't come, I like to speak for him. He wants more opportunities for youth and spaces to skate inside of the city. One of the places that he thinks would be a good idea is under the bridge that's going, our Sidney Lanier Bridge. He thinks that provides a space to have some skating space in the city. We've heard him to the tune that we have a skating community here. Skateboarding, because we've also heard of skating rink community, to the space that we have a skateboarding community or anything to that nature. We are taking that into account as we think about how we spread pedestrian areas throughout the city. So I appreciate him always for signing up, and anytime he finds me, he gives me his opinion. So I appreciate that as well. With that, we'll move on to recognitions, presentations, and awards from Ms. Heather Rivera, Customer Engagement Specialist with Georgia Power, to present City of Brunswick with a 20-year membership award with the Chamber of Commerce. It's good to see you.
I'm Heather Rivera. I'm a chamber ambassador along with working for Georgia Power. So I'm just here to present this award with you guys and get a picture of your guys' 20 years of being a member at the Chamber of Commerce.
I appreciate that. As a good chamber employee on the Georgia level, I understand what it's like to show up to the meetings and hand out awards. So we thank you for your focus. We thank you for the chamber's work, and we thank you for your work with Georgia Power and being an amazing community partner with us. So we'll grab a picture with you. Right there. Let's see. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Regina. Okay. Wonderful. With that, we will move on to public hearing for new alcohol licenses. Called Deputy Up. And for new alcohol licenses, we have In and Out Mini Mart, business address 1603 L Street, a license type retail sale of beer and wine.
Good evening
Good evening.
again. Yes, you are correct. It's 1603 L Street, In and Out Mini Mart. Owner, Mr. Patel, for retail sales of beer and wine. He is here with his son to help interpret and so it's a language barrier. So you guys can come on.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. How you doing? Thank you for coming before us this evening. If you just tell us a little bit about your business, what you plan on doing there, what you plan on selling there, hours of operation, things of that nature, gives us a kind of baseline to start asking some questions. We appreciate you being here.
All right, so the hours of business are 10 to 12, Monday to Sunday, every day. And what we sell are drinks, chips, chicken, fried chicken, and lottery, all that stuff. And we are trying to get a beer and wine license to sell that in our premises also. And we plan to expand the building by, we have a plan to buy some properties on the side and on the behind, and we have discussions going on with that also.
Wonderful. And just so I know, you mean 10 a.m. to midnight?
12.
Okay. And you'll be selling beer and wine that whole time?
Sorry?
The sale of beer and wine, you'll be selling it from 10 a.m. to midnight.
Yeah,
Trying to make sure. Okay.
yeah. 10 and 10.
Not a problem. Questions or comments from the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I have one question. Because you mentioned it, when you said to buy properties to the side, tell me about your expansion.
We
And you talking about, when you say to the side, you facing your building?
no, like beside the building and behind the building.
To the right side with the big
L-
oak tree?
Yeah, left side and behind the building.
So you're gonna buy the oak tree? I mean, where
Yeah, the land and behind the building. I've been speaking to the persons, and we're still on some.
okay, so you're gonna buy if you stand in front of your store,
Yes,
the building to the right, there's a space, and then there's a building to the right. Are you purchasing that whole piece?
whole
on the-
piece. Yes,
on the
and
right?
also there's a empty plot behind the building.
And what are your plans for your expansion?
Make the building bigger, add gas stations and all that stuff.
Oh, you're gonna make a gas station?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Any additional comments or questions? Hear none. Thank you guys for being here this evening. Just take a step to your left, my right, right over here. I appreciate it. If I'm in correct order, City Clerk, we will open it for public comment. All of those who would like to speak on public comment, we'd like you to come up to the mic. I'd love a straight line because it helps us move quickly, but we like to leave it open for 20 seconds. So we will open the public comment period for In-N-Out Mini Mart for 1603 L Street, retail sales of beer and wine.
Good evening.
Good evening.
By now, you should know my script. And if you don't know my script, I'll repeat it. About a block from an establishment that already sells alcoholic beverages. If you approve that, it will be a slap in the face to my neighborhood. And I find it interesting that these gentlemen did not indicate plans for expansion when they came to our MPA meeting. However, I do find it very convenient that he chose to say that to you when he did not say that to us. So Urbana Perry Park wants businesses. Another place that sells alcoholic beverages, they already sell Lotto, they sell vape, and they even sell chicken. That's the best we can do? I hope not.
Good evening.
Good evening.
we have, right now, we have too many businesses in our neighborhood that flood our neighborhood with alcohol and beer. It's bad enough that the people, the places that been approved to sell alcohol and beer, like Artie's and the other ones in the plaza, these people don't, once they buy their beer and alcohol, they leave. Artists and these other business police their areas, make sure there's no looters. I mean, not looters, but people hanging around, except for L Street Liquor. And the thing about it, most people in that neighborhood that's buying this beer and wine, that's hanging around there, they don't even live in that neighborhood. But they're bringing out, this one time, I was out there cutting the grass in my yard, and this young guy pulled up and said, "Hey, bro, where's the liquor store in the neighborhood?" And it kind of made me mad. He said, "Where's the liquor store in the hood?" It kind of made me mad. But then I realized it's two blocks around the corner. So I guess you saying I do, my neighborhood is the hood. And it's the hood because of these liquor stores and these places, because it's not the fact that they selling it, it's the fact that the people just buying it and just hanging around there. And we got schools and churches close to these areas. Really, I don't know how L Street Liquor got their license from the beginning when they're so close to this elementary school. So as far as to keep flooding our neighborhood with liquor and wine, no, I don't agree with it.
Anyone additional? Leave it open for a little bit longer. With that, we will close public comment period for In-N-Out Mini Mart, 1603 L Street retail sales of beer and wine. Come back to the front for me. Any additional comments or questions from the commission?
Mr. I have one quick question for Deputy Marshal. Deputy Marshal, can you just give me a little quick update? I heard from Ms. Collins that they did attend the MPA. Can you give me a little rundown of when they attended and a synopsis or summary of what their reaction was?
The NPA meeting was dated, I'm so sorry. 3/31, March 31st. And they did attend. NPA was not in favor, as Ms. Anita said. And that sums it up.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Sebi. For Deputy, I
Deputy.
apologize, Deputy.
I'm sorry. Deputy, looking at our ordinance, do they meet all the criteria referenced as we have outlined?
The distance from the church,
Yes.
they are pretty close. Brian, if you don't mind helping me out, I have the ordinance on me, the footage. It's 300. And when I measured it 2 years ago when they applied, back in 2024, it was over that amount, or that footage, that particular church in front of them. I'm not sure of the name of it, 'cause I never see a name of it, but you
The
got.
church on Stonewall?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so.
But everything
Make sure I
else-
understand you correctly. Basically, based on our ordinance, okay, the distance requirement is too close to the church.
Well, no. When I measured from their entrance to the church's entrance, it was over 300 feet.
What is our?
It's 300 in the ordinance.
For retail package sales for off-premise consumption, it's a lesser standard. And so if it was within a certain distance, if it was within the distance from the church, you could take that into consideration, but it is not an absolute bar, meaning it's not an absolute prohibition of having it there. There are certain specific restrictions for retail sale of wine and malt beverages for consumption off premises within 300 feet of any school building, school grounds, or college campus. So that is an absolute bar. But if it goes outside the 300 feet and within 1,500 feet, you can take into consideration churches and residential properties that are located in that proximity, but it's not an absolute bar, if that makes sense.
And I do have one more question for the applicant. Now, I'm gonna make sure I understand where you said it's expansion.
Yes.
You are going to try to acquire the property with the tree.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments from the commission? Hearing none. We will open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we deny the beer and wine license for In-N-Out Mini Mart, 1603 L Street for retail sales of beer and wine.
First, do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing the first and second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you all for coming. I would like to, city attorney, actually, we want to ensure that we are moving in the correct manner. We want to ensure that we state a reason for the motion, not just a motion of denial.
Correct.
So that motion was already approved. Is there a need to rescind that vote and motion, move back to an original motion, or can a motion be made?
I think that if there's clarification provided, it seemed like there was a concern as to the proximity of churches and residential properties, but that was my reading of
It
what-
was, but I wanted that clarification to be stated from the DIs, maybe in the motion, in case it
that would
moved.
certainly make it clearer and more concrete.
That's
Okay,
that. So let's,
so I'm rescinding.
we got you.
Sorry. We previously stated reasons before when it was denied before. So
Yes.
can those be in conjunction with the denial for tonight?
Not
I just want to make sure that we have that fixed determination and reason just in case there's an appeal of some sort.
right. I
And we
think
want to
that-
make sure.
Understood. Not the prior, because this, I believe, is a different applicant than the previous decision. Oh, no, same. All right. Then yes, there have been prior reasons given. But I do think that for clarity of the record, it might be best to state, and this is something that also, if you state now with clarity, that can be included in the denial letter. The most important thing is that when a decision to deny is confirmed, like it just was, that the letter from the deputy marshal's office specifies the reasons why it was denied.
Wonderful. With that, we'll put it in the motion.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to deny the In-N-Out Mini Mart for retail sales of beer and wine due to saturation, location, and close proximity to schools and homes.
Hearing the first, do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing the first and the second, all those in favor show by sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Thank you, Commissioner Roll. With that, we will move on to add-on alcohol licenses. Name of business 1509 Restaurant, Corey McGraw, license type off-premise catering.
Yes, we do have 1509. It is Miss Tracy Sproul. Okay, she is the manager of 1509. She's sitting in for Miss Corey McGraw tonight. They are seeking a catering license for off-premise alcohol.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. We are used to having these licenses before us from businesses and organizations who want to be able to cater events and also handle the alcohol license with that. So we're fairly aware of it. We also thank you for your business here in downtown Brunswick and the growth
enjoy
that
being
you
here.
all have provided. If you can provide us just with a small synopsis of what you like to do with the license.
Did want to state that they are already licensed. They do have an active or a current
Alcohol.
alcohol license.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
In you all's restaurant, right? And
Yes, sir.
so what we will do is, can you just give us a brief synopsis of why you like the license? Then there'll be some questions if there are from the
Sure.
commission.
We are just looking to do some catering off-site. We don't have anything on the books just yet, but we are expanding the business and we love being downtown. So we possibly have some opportunities from off-site catering. And that's why we were asking for the license.
Perfect. Thank you. Questions or comments from the commission?
Now, sounds bizarre, but I just want to make sure you're not going to have and I know it's not a food truck, but have a stand up and that you are kind of like doing a mobile. Do you perceive that you will have your license, if granted,
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No.
license, that you perceive that you could do a mobile alcohol catering at a particular site?
Like out of a food truck or just?
Food truck, or you set up a lemonade stand?
No, ma'am. It's mainly if we do food catering, we want to be able to offer alcohol.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure because, some people stretch it.
No,
That feels
ma'am.
like I have this off-premise catering and I could go over and set up a location on the corner and decide that I want to sell alcohol. So,
No, ma'am. It's just for when we do our food catering, we like to be able to offer the alcohol as well, if they would like that.
okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other additional questions or comments? Here are none. Can you just step to your left for me? We will now open it for public comment on add-on alcohol licenses for 1509 Restaurant, 1509 Newcastle Street for off-premises catering. Hearing none, we will close the public comment period. Any other, you can come back here for us. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the alcohol license for 1509 Restaurant for off-premise catering purposes.
Second.
Hearing the first and the second, all those in favor show by usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we will move on to updates. Neighborhood and Community Services, Director Bravo.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me the time to give you a brief update about my department, which is Neighborhood and Community Services. I'm going to start by showing you the chart that we have within the department. Me as the director, obviously, we have Aisha Session as the administrative assistant. And then you have the four main sections within the department, which is the Senior Center. Manager is Joyce Mitchell. You have your CDBG program specialist, Dina Carter. Recently, we took over some of the customer service aspect of the Brunswick Breeze. That is managed by Aisha. And then you have your MPAs, 6 of them, and each one has their own structure within itself. Next, please. I'll move on now to the Senior Center, and I'll give you a brief description of what we do. So the goal of the Senior Center is to promote and reach a better quality of life for senior citizens within the city of Brunswick. Some of the activities that the center offers is bingo, leisure and recreational, community education, health screenings. We have group and individual exercise programs. They do Bible reading. They celebrate every holiday. And we, as a matter of fact, we have the Spring Fling this Saturday at 5 p.m. at Seldon Park. So these are some of the activities that we do for the seniors. We keep them busy. We get them out of bed. We get them off the TV. They get there. If you go there, I know some of you commissioners have been there. There's a lot of movement, a lot of action going on within the center. And that's the whole purpose of it, to keep them busy and they're happy. The center is divided into two sections. You have the congregated meals and then the adult day service, the adult care day services. Your congregated meals basically is the main area. The center provides one hot midday meal 5 days a week at 11:30. Meals are prepared on site and they're fresh. We have the kitchen and basically they're served. We also use some volunteers, and in some cases when the center is closed, we provide staple meals. So we're always helping and providing meals for the seniors. The adult day services basically that's reserved for those who have Alzheimer's or loss of memory, and it's a different section. They still socialize with the ones in the main hall, but mainly are kept on the other side because of the conditions they suffer, and because we have the full-time nurse on that side along with a CNA, so they keep an eye on all the time while they're there. You know, Alzheimer's, loss of memory, they wander, so we will make sure that they're safe in that environment. For the month of March, just to give you a sample here, we have 70 clients that are currently active. And at one point, they attend the center during the month. Out of those 70, 37 are city residents, and 33 are county residents. We serve 934 meals for the month of March. So that's giving you an idea of how much input and how important the senior center is for this community, not only for the city of Brunswick, but also for Glynn County. The senior center is the only one, I believe, that provides adult care services within 3 counties. And that's important. So we're trying to promote that service because this is a place where you can bring your grandfather, your aunt, your brother that suffers from Alzheimer's or loss of memory, and you can drop him off at 8 o'clock in the morning, go to work in peace because you know he's going to be in good hands, and then pick him up at 4 o'clock. The price is all based on income. Just to give an example, some of them pay as low as $25 a week. To receive a service of that level, it's unique in itself. And that's all thank you to the city, and also thank you to the county in part. Just to give you another example, we are working around for the senior center. We're installing a new siding. That's something that the CDBG is funding. We did in the past, I'm going to say 3 years, we installed a new roof. We provided a new driveway, a new parking lot, and now we're providing the new siding. And also inside the building, we're doing some remodeling. So the center is really getting a nice uplift. In the past, I'm going to say 5 years, we've been very constant and pouring money into the center because the center it's important. It's a staple for the city and for those seniors that live within the city and again, within the county. Next, please. The CDBG, which is the Community Development Grant Program, that's run by Dina Carter. Right now it's divided in different sections, but the main sections is your public services, which are your nonprofits within the community. You have your demolition, your home repairs, and then your public facilities, which are basically public buildings such as the senior center. So right now we projected, when we started the fiscal year, we helped 7 nonprofits within the community. Out of the 7, so far 7 are still meeting the criteria and submitting those reports to us, which we're going to reimburse that money back to them. So every quarter we provide a check with expenses that they apply for. So thank God, right now we have 7, there's still 7. In some years, sometimes you get 7, you get 8, and midway, they don't have the funding or they cannot provide the receipts. Unfortunately, we cannot reimburse them because they don't have enough to prove that they had the expense. So right now we're 7 for 7. As far as the demolition is concerned, we projected 5. Right now we're at 3, and this is the 3rd quarter, so it's projected that we will complete 5. For home repairs, we projected 10. Right now we're at 7. So we're doing great as far as the CDBG. As far as the public facilities, that project is a senior center. Typically it's 1 public facility a year. The senior center was the project, and right now it's in progress. As we speak, actually, they're putting the siding. So if you want to drive by today or tomorrow, you're going to see how the guys are working and putting the siding on the building. That should take probably no more than, I think, a week. They're going to be working on the weekend too. So hopefully we'll see the finished product by the midweek next week, I'm going to say. So I'm really excited about that. Some of the other items that we included in the CDBG, especially the home repairs, is the smoke detectors. So I have a sample here, a show and tell. So basically what we realized when we were running the program is we go in these homes and we do repairs, and then we realize that some of them are missing smoke detectors. So all of a sudden it dawned on us that the fire department provide those for free, and they install them for the community. So we partnered with them and said, hey, guys, this is what we're going to do with you. We're going to go in these homes. We're going to make a note that there is missing fire alarms or fire smokes, and then we're going to pass that address and the homeowner to you, and then you go in your time and provide that service to them. So it's a great partnership because we screen the homes, we know what's missing, we pass it on to the fire department, and they go in and take care of it. So it's a great partnership. The other item, I don't even know how to say that word, is digital hygrometers, right? Anyway, so these are the ones. And basically what it is, out of the 10 homes we're going to fix this year, at the end of the fiscal year, each homeowner is going to get one. And what this little device does is it measures the moisture inside the property. So you put it in your kitchen or your dining table, and then you'll be able to see if your air conditioner is working, if it needs the filters changed. It's going to give you readings for temperature, different things. And this is great for seniors because, you know, they get, with the new technology, it gets complicated. All they have to do is look at this thing, and it's going to tell them exactly what's going on with their with the air inside their home. This is also free as part of the program. As long as we fix the home, you'll get one of these at the end of the fiscal year. The other partnership we have is with the land bank. We're currently working one demolition, 3223 Norwich Street, which we're due to provide an update to the board. One of the issues with this property is that it is considered a retail property, and we discovered there was a lot of asbestos in the property. So once you are dealing with asbestos in a retail property, it becomes it's a different animal. It's not like residential. So that means you have to get EPA involved. There has to be a specific contractor. Dina, if she's watching, she did a lot of footwork on this one, a lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings with EPA, and finally we narrowed it to one contractor that is going to dispose of everything. Because not only you have to encapsulate the property, but it has to be disposed of properly, and it has to have the specific certification so we can submit that to EPA, and they can say, okay, great, you guys did a great job, it's approved. So that takes a lot of time and effort. So Dina took care of that one. And then also planning, development, and codes. That's something we've been doing with John Hunter, Director Hunter, for the past 5 years. He puts them through the court system, and there's nobody taking care of those properties. The judge signs the order, and then they pass it on to us, and we demolish those properties. Now, this process is not something that happens overnight. It takes sometimes years to get a property to that point. So it's not like we can say, hey, you know what, we don't like this property because it's ugly, it's dirty, and we take it down. No, it doesn't work that way. It goes through the entire legal process before we can touch it, along with environmental and historical review. So that's also a long process. Other projects that we're working on right now, one obviously is Brunswick Breeze. Just to give an idea what we do in my department, we sell vouchers. In the past 3 months, we probably sold about 100 of them. It's in person. They come in. We have the capability to do either cash or credit card, and basically they purchase the voucher. And Aisha, which is the one running that section of the program, she will show them how to upload the app, set up the voucher, and the credit card on their phones. A lot of the users are seniors, so obviously they're happy that we're providing that service one-on-one to them. So we're getting a lot of traffic. Just to give an idea, we probably had about 174 interactions in 3 months. So if you think about it, that's what, 93 days, you take off the weekends. So we're getting an average of about 3-4 people a day coming in. And all of them are, most of them, I'm gonna say, are seniors. They don't know how to use the phone, so Aisha takes the time, puts them in a conference room, gets the app going, puts the credit card for them or the voucher, whatever the case, and they're happy because now they know how to use it. So I think the one-on-one is a huge win for the city, rather than calling a number and you don't know who you're talking to. So now, I know Aisha probably is watching this. She has become the face of the Brunswick Breeze for the city. So kudos to her. Cash collected, probably about $2,500. If you look at it, it's not a lot in 3 months, but you got to remember, these are people that are coming into my office. These are not the users that you have at home, plugging in their own stuff, teenagers, 20-year-olds, they don't need any help. They know what they're doing. So that doesn't count that profit in here. This is only for the guys that for the seniors that walk into our office. Another project that we're working on is a cloud project. Basically, right now, the system we have in my department is the shared drive system, which is a server in the city. The idea is to have all the files uploaded in what they call the cloud. So right now, we're reviewing all the files, and slowly we're moving those into that system. We're still going to continue having the shared drive format, but until we are for sure that everything is in the cloud, then at one point, we're going to shy away from that. But we will continue keeping paper files as stated by law. There are certain laws that you have to keep those paper files. I think some of them are between 4 to 5 years. We'll continue keeping those, and if we have the space, we'll keep them for as long as we need to. Another one that we're doing, this is based on the homeless initiative that we have under the CDBG, is called Warm Hearts Initiative for Homeless Veterans. Unfortunately, the Veterans Village, the one here around the corner, they have some electrical problems, and they burned down all their water heaters, which is about 15 of them, which is half of the water heaters on each tiny house. So basically what we're doing, we're going to replace those, help them to get those back on track, and they can use those homes for those veterans that are actually homeless. You're looking at a budget of probably about $10,000, $11,000 right now, which is within the budget for CDBG. Another project that we're doing is they get in where you fit in. This is a youth project, which is we're doing. It first started with a collection of data under the supervision of a city manager. We were trying to find among the youth in the city of Brunswick, what were the trends? What exactly was creating all this violence? So Aisha developed this questionnaire and went out there and started working with these nonprofits and basically talking to the children and see what was going on. We also gathered some data from the juvenile court, so we have some numbers from them. And the whole idea is to basically, once we're done with the study, is to kind of interlink both the juvenile numbers with what we find through the youth in the city. That's going to give us some numbers and some trends and see what exactly is going on, because some of those youth in the city end up in the system in the county. So the logic is that whatever is in the juvenile court is probably going to reflect some of what's going on in our community. If we can match those numbers, or there is some sort of trend, we're going to know right away. Right now, for what we have, we've done about 275 youth, and the trend seems to be that the violence starts in social media. So that's the number one right now. So social media plays a huge role in what's going on as far as the violence. I think that's not only a local trend, but I think it's a national trend. But at least for the community of Brunswick, that's what we're starting to see and where the curve's starting to lean to. So I'll give you more details once we've got the final results and compare with the juvenile system. And we're going to know exactly where this is going. The other project is the Amity House. This is a shelter for homeless women with children. Due to domestic violence, they need a driveway. We're also going to include that under the CDBG program. It's about $8,000. And also, I put at the bottom some of the community engagement that we have with my department. Obviously, is neighborhood and community services. So we're required, at least under my direction, to attend every possible meeting that we hear or know about within the community. This is going to give you a list of all the events and meetings that we attend within the community. Just to give you a few, we attend the Glynn County EMA plan, the Homeless Coalition, GMA, Special Olympics. I mean, I can go on and on, but just to give an idea, I attend some of those meetings. I delegate those to some of my staff. Joyce at the Senior Center attends some of those meetings as well. So we try to be out there in the community and put faces with each thing that we do, so the community knows who we are. So next, please. All right, so here's the MPAs. MPAs are a very important part of our city. There are 6 of them, and this is just for public consumption. We have 6 of them. Goodyear, Historic Brunswick, Magnolia College Park, Midtown, Tri-Area, and Urbana Perry Park. They all meet on a monthly or bi-monthly on a quarterly basis. So basically, they have their own meetings every month or every 2 months. And then my department organizes the quarterly meeting, which is every 3 or 4 months. It all depends how the schedules look like. I know some of you have been in those meetings, and basically it's a great idea to bring all of them together, have all the city officials under one roof, and we basically exchange of ideas, opinions, and so on. Since I took over the department, I can say that the participation in these MPAs has really increased in most of them, which is a great thing. And I know during Mr. Cosby's first term, we met a few times, and I know you told me very stern, says, hey, look, I want you to engage those MPAs. I want you to have resources for these people. I want you to have ways to help them to increase, and that's paying off right now. We're basically, the department provides a lot of things for these MPAs. I'm just going to read a few of them. Signage, all the signs that you see in the streets, community events, community meetings for each MPAs, those are something that the city provides. We also provide business cards. We have offered business cards, and only one MPA took the opportunity to use those. There are some conditions for us to give them the business card. One is that they cannot have their name on it, because then it becomes a personal, but it can have the name of the MPA, Facebook page, and a Google phone. Because what happens if somebody moves on into something else, then you're stuck with 500 business cards with that someone else's number that is not part of that MPA. So those are some of the conditions we put in there. Only one MPA has taken advantage of that. We offer IT department under William. He offers free web hosting, meaning they don't have to pay for the service. And he also offers WordPress, which is a software to design websites. Only one MPA is taking advantage of that. So these are things that are free to them, and I wish they would take advantage. Office space, my office is always open 8 to 5. There's only one MPA that uses the offices for meetings during the day. Flyers, photocopies, and guest speakers and advertising. We provide all that to the MPAs. Just to give you an example about guest speakers, we had somebody from CRC. She was a, let me see here, dementia care specialist. She came to me and says, hey, I want to reach out to the community of Brunswick because I'm one of the only specialists in the area. What do you suggest? Boom, MPAs. Send out the email. Only one of them actually reached out to me and says, hey, I want this person to come to our meeting. The person went to the meeting. Turns out to be in that meeting, there was about 35 people. Half of them were shocked that some of their family members had some sort of dementia or some Alzheimer's, some sort of medical condition. That opened their eyes, and they exchanged business cards. And so this is a good example of how we try to bring people into the MPAs to show them or give them some chances to bring these guests into the community so they can pass on this knowledge, so they can pass it on to their own neighborhoods. As far as advertising, the social media, we basically forward anything related to that is approved by the city manager, the office of city manager, and our PIO. Anything that is going on as far as events, conferences, or whatever the case applies for public information that's passed on to me, I send that to the MPAs. We keep a calendar, all the information that is fed to them. And basically, we make sure that they are well informed, because that's part of the whole process of having MPAs, is to make sure that the community understands what is going on. One of the speakers we had a couple of years ago was somebody from Atlanta. There was some questions or interest, I would say, about MPUs. They wanted to understand how the MPUs work in Atlanta. And I reached out to the city of Atlanta. I spoke with the director, and basically I had the assistant director at the time do a Zoom call for the MPAs for the quarterly meeting. And she basically explained how the MPUs work and the way they're set up in Atlanta. Obviously, you're talking about Atlanta, city of Atlanta. There are 27 MPUs. It's huge compared to the city, but at least I think that's knowledge that they need to know so they understand how MPAs or MPUs operate outside the city of Brunswick. I think it gives them a broader idea of how things should be done. So that was a great speaker as well. I think that's it for the MPAs. Next, please. And now for budget and expenses. As you can see, thank God my numbers are all green so far. You can see there for CDBG, last year we have $384,000 and change. Right now, we're almost halfway through that money. Obviously, we still have a few properties that need to be repaired, some need to be demolished. And so that's probably gonna, by the time we hit June 30th, it's probably gonna be pretty much close to that number, which is what we budgeted for. Under the CDBG admin, the same thing. We're probably, you know, a little bit over half. We still have one full term, one full quarter. Salaries and all that obviously is gonna probably add up to that amount, which is what we expected. That's my projection. For the senior center, the same thing. You can see there we're to a certain degree, probably 3/4 into it. And we should be pretty much close to that amount when we get to the end of the fiscal year. The amount there at the end is about $1 million and change. We're almost halfway through that money, which is kind of what I expected when I do the budgeting. Typically, you go through half almost between the second quarter, third quarter. By the time you hit your fourth is when the numbers are going to probably increase. And then obviously we still have some payments up there floating, which I'm sure if I go back in my office tomorrow and I check the balance, it's probably going to be different because of all the checks that are being cleared through the CDBG. So other than that, if you have any questions, any comments, I'll be happy to answer any.
As this is an update, and I realize that I have a commissioner that is type timeline, I'm going to ask us to condense our questions and any other questions. Because this is an update, I would ask that we send it to the director in person. But if there are any pertinent questions that need to be asked right now about his update, are there any questions or comments?
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, you have.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate
You have an awesome department.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate. Thank you. Thank you for your
I
time.
appreciate it. Thank you. With that, we will move on to number 5A, which is review of alcohol license for 4420 Altama. If I am saying that correctly. Is there any
Do we have
comments or questions?
Any
And
more?
deputy,
Give us-
I don't,
Deputy Mark.
missing the deputy.
Mr.
There we go. We got deputy come back.
Or Mr. Corey.
Yep. Deputy, there we go. We are on 5A, which is review of the alcohol license for 4420 Altama. We will give a brief update as to where we are, turn it over to City Attorney Corey if there is any additional update, and then turn it to the commission for questions or comments or a motion.
Yep. I think the commission at this point is aware of the incident that occurred on the early morning of April 12th, 2026 at the location that was identified in the item. When these events happen, we do have an ordinance on the books under the alcohol beverage license portion. And I just wanted to read it into the record because that is what is essentially governing what decision is before the city commission. If a firearm is discharged, I apologize. Let me step back real quick. This is section 35-25, supervision, revocation, non-renewal, or probation. This is under subsection C. If a firearm is discharged or any other weapon, such as, but not limited to, a knife, brass knuckles, a blade, etc., are used around a bar, restaurant, or retail liquor store on its grounds or approaches, including parking areas, or by any customer or employee upon leaving the establishment while within 300 feet of the entrance to the establishment, the police chief or his/her designee may place on suspension the liquor license of any establishment for a period of 3 days. There's a secondary portion of this as well. Provided, however, that if a firearm is discharged or any person attempts to discharge a firearm or any other weapon, such as but not limited to a knife, brass knuckles, a blade, etc., is used within an establishment's building, premises, the liquor license of such establishment shall be automatically placed on suspension for a 3-day period, and such period may be extended by the city commission as it sees fit for the process of a thorough investigation. That section goes on to state that we would, if a suspension or a decision on a suspension is rendered by the city commission, we would need to notify them in writing. If there's any other portions of that code, I'd be happy to read it in, but just keep in mind that as you move forward, there are options available to the city commission, but for the time being, this section contemplates a suspension for a period of time while the commission, not just law enforcement, but the city commission makes determinations as to how the investigation has gone and what discretion they want to place on that alcohol license.
Thank you, City Attorney. Thank you, Deputy, for being here. If any additional questions are had from the commission towards you, we thank you for being here. Is there any questions or comments to Deputy or City Attorney? Hearing none, we'll open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I motion to suspend the alcohol license for the Jerk Shack LLC located at 4420 Altama Avenue, pending the completion of the investigation regarding the incident occurring on April 12th, 2026, until our our meeting scheduled on May 20.
Hearing the first, do I hear a second? Hearing the first and a second, all those in favor show by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes.
Could I just offer some clarity too? Now, the next step would be Deputy Marshal will provide a written notice to the license holder that the license is suspended until the date that was stated by Commissioner Saby or Mayor Pro Tem Saby. There is due process under our ordinance where this licensee can request a hearing, and if they do so, I believe we've given at least 2 opportunities at the next 2 meetings. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy. With that, we will move on to number 5, consider approval of April 1st, 2026 regular scheduled meeting minutes. City Clerk Atkinson, if there are no addendums or subtractions, we'll open it up for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from April 1st regular scheduled meeting as submitted.
Second.
Hearing a first and a second, all those in favor show by sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. With that, we'll move on to number 6. Consider approval of agreement with CXT Inc. for a precast concrete restroom and concession building at Howard Coffin Park. Director Albertson.
Good evening. As you mentioned, this is an item for related to a restroom building at Howard Coffin Park. As you know, Howard Coffin Park is our largest park in the city. It's essentially divided into 2 sections, north and south, by a drainage canal. The south side of the park contains a football field, soccer field, walking track, coastal outreach soccer building, and there are currently no restroom facilities in that end of the park. The city received a grant from the Governor's Office of Health and Safety for improvements in the park. The grant was $2.1 million grant. The agreement called for a $600,000 local match, which we have agreed to match from ARPA funds, resulting in a total project budget of $2.7 million. We have wrapped up the grant portion of the scope of the grant. The remaining item that we have on it is, on the grant, is a restroom facility there at the south end of the park. We put out a request for proposals for restroom buildings and got one response back from CXT Corporation. It's a precast concrete bathroom building, same building that we used at Overlook Park and Liberty Ship Park. Concrete floor, walls, roof, very low maintenance, very damage resistant, be flood resistant there in the low-lying area of Howard Coffin Park. We've had, feel like, very good success with those at the two parks where we already have them in place. This particular model that is proposed includes 4 restrooms. There'll be 2 men's, 2 women's stalls. It also includes a 9x26 room with a large roll-up window, which could serve as a concession area, and another 9x26 room, which could serve as storage room for park maintenance equipment or however the Parks Department wanted to use that. The city, as I mentioned, it's a precast building, so we would prepare the building pad and the utilities, which we could do in-house, and the vendor would just bring the building, install it, and make those connections. The cost of this proposed building is $408,314.26. This cost would go towards our $600,000 grant match. It would be paid from the ARPA funds and count toward our $600,000 grant match. We've already paid about $250,000 towards that grant match, so this would push us just over that required $600,000. And I understand there may be a need to move some ARPA funds to accommodate this budget. I'll let Ms. McDuffie speak to that detail a little bit more there. But anyway, the agreement is for $408,314.26 for a precast concrete restroom and concession building from CXT Incorporated.
Thank you, Director Albertson. I think Commission has been aware that this project was a part of the completion of all that we did. I know we have not only individuals who use it back there, such as Coastal Outreach Soccer, but we've also had travel football teams, other individuals who are using the new facilities in the back, and there is at current no restroom facility back there except a porta potty, which I've had to use on runs on occasion. So that is not the funnest experience at night. I know you wanted Regina to speak to the completion of the funds and where that would be coming from. As currently stated, that would put us slightly over the 600,000 committed to the project. So City Manager McDuffie, will turn it over to you.
We are asking for the approval of the project. There are funds undesignated in the ARPA fund from the interest, a little over $900,000. And we're asking for about $60,000 to complete the project. But we are going to try and seek some grants, sponsorships, and see if there's any partners in the community that may contribute to the project going forward.
I just want to make sure, what is the total number coming out of the interest number?
$58,000.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
Yes. Madam City Manager, make sure you understand that when you are referring to unallocated funds of ARPA, you are only referring to the interest or something else?
Only the interest.
Okay, so basically we could just say not ARPA funds, because to me, it gives a convoluted thought of you saying ARPA funds when all ARPA funds should have already been allocated, with the exception of interest does not have restrictions. Okay.
Good deal. Questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll open it for a motion. Sure.
It's approximately a 6-month time frame from the time we give them to go ahead till the building delivery. So we're looking at October-ish, late September, October.
And I'm just making sure so that people don't think we're neglecting other parks. This was a part of the money from the governor that had to be at one location, right, one project.
Right.
So that's why we did all the work at Howard Coffin Park.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Robertson, just give me I know what general location, we're talking about in terms of Howard Coffin, but is it going to be adjacent to the building for Coastal Outreach Soccer? Is it going to go closer to the football field? Like, just give me a little idea where.
We're thinking as you drive in that driveway, headed east towards 17, Coastal Outreach Soccer Building's on your left, probably there at the end of that, so people, Coastal Outreach Soccer would have easy access. People from the walking track could walk over and easily access it. So sort of right there at the end of that pavement.
Thank you.
Yes.
I did have a question. And it may be for the city manager. Can you, can you later give us, itemize what is the actual balance of that interest income at a later date? That's all. I just want you to send that to us. How have we spent out, right, of that, not the actual balance, we approved this 58,000 for this project. What is left of that $900,000 we have not spent? You understand follow me? Like, thank you. After expenditures that we have allocated out. This is the only?
Yes, this is the only expenditure that's been allocated from the ARPA interest.
Okay, well, that's okay. If this is the only one, now I make note of it.
Yeah, this is the only one.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments? Here and now, we'll open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the agreement with CXT Inc. in the amount of $408,314.26 for a precast concrete restroom and concession building at Howard Coffin Park.
Here in the first, do I hear a second?
Second.
Here in the first and the second, all those in favor show by a sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, Director Robertson.
Thank you.
With that, we will move on to consider approval, authorizing new construction on city-owned property 2228 Amherst Street, Affordable Home Ownership Program. Ms. Chesley Hill.
Good evening. How are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Thank you. Good. So I am here tonight asking for the approval to move forward with the new construction at 228 Amherst Street. It is a city-owned property, and this is going to be a part of our housing program. This project involves the construction of 1,000 square foot single-family home. It's designed by the Woodman Builders, Inc. The total estimated cost would be $160,000, which aligns closely with our $170,000 budget for a new construction of this size. The effort builds on the progress we've already made through our home buyers workshop, which will be the pipeline of getting individuals ready to buy a home or ready for a mortgage. At this point in time, we have 2 individuals that have been pre-approved. We've been working with them for about 13 months. One of them is pre-approved for $200,000, so that's well over the amount of the build for this particular home. So our goal is still to directly connect qualified individuals, pre-approved buyers through the home buyers workshop, but also through an outreach. We've started with the fire department. We're moving into the police department and public works, making sure they understand the resources that the city has and the opportunities, and as well, hopefully expanding to connect with the school system as well. So the home would be built through the city, transferred over into the land bank to actually be sold so that we could put deed restrictions on the home and to make sure that we do keep it attainable for our community and someone does not take advantage of the opportunity that we are bringing to the community. And that also will help strengthen the land bank as they'll receive the taxes off of that property for the next 5 years. So we feel it's just a win-win. So tonight it's to recap it back, is to ask for the approval to go ahead and move forward with this new construction and hopefully create a homeowner out of one of our, either out of the city or even one of our public housing is the goal.
Thank you so much for the work that you put in. I think this is probably the easiest item of the evening. But before we get there, I don't know if we have many questions because I think everyone on the commission was involved in
Yes.
trying to get us to this point. So I think all of us are extremely knowledgeable of where we are. So I don't think there's many questions, but to the tune that there are comments, at least in question. All good. To the tune that there
I
are
love-
comments and questions. We want to ask those, but let me say, just on the onset to staff, to all of those who worked on it, and I'm sure I'll say it again at the end to Commissioner Harris, the work that you've done uplifting the land bank and getting us to the point. Commissioner Gwen Atkinson Williams, home buyer program, making sure people get in the pipeline and teaching people. So collective effort getting here. With that, questions and comments.
I just have a comment. I just know that you have this vision to change the entire 2200 block of Amherst Street, so we don't have to worry about other things. And I know it takes one step at a time and continue to do the good work. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. And just, we are in contact with the owner next door. We are reaching out to the land bank to acquire 227. And we do hope we can do a small little strategic plan to put possibly 4 new homes in the 2200 block of Amherst. And that would just be amazing.
Additional questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you. Chelsea, you've been working really, 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 really hard. I'm excited for the individuals that will become homeowners. So it's an exciting thing. Start acting up. But it's a good experience to just have your own, right? So
I appreciate
I'm excited for those individuals that are getting the help and the 2 that are already pre-approved.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I did tell Regina I wouldn't do cartwheels to the stand. So excited.
And I love the photo with the porch is really nice.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
that's a really nice porch.
That is a hard lot. It is 30 by 90 foot. So we did want to bring some kind of character, to a cottage style home. If John will let me put a bay window from the setbacks, maybe we can add some more architectural features.
I just want to say thank you. It's been a long time coming. We've worked diligently since I've been on the commission to bring this to pass. And so happy to have you you being the one that's ushering this in along with John and everyone else. So John knows we've been at this for a while, so we're happy to be at this point. So thank you all.
Thank you.
I want to say this because you don't get a chance to say this many times up here. Some things are a long time coming, and even the first steps are a long time coming. And this can seem like a very nominal process. It can seem like something very easy. But for the commissioners who sit beside me, for the commissioners who I've had the opportunity to sit beside, and even more so to Commissioner Harris, it has been a fight to keep the land bank afloat. It has been a fight to keep the land bank open. It has been a fight to provide real, affordable housing for people to buy. And it doesn't happen by us buying broad swaths of property. We are not BlackRock. We are not JP Morgan Chase. We are not any of that. We are the city of Brunswick. And to get to the place where we have come together under the leadership of Commissioner Harris, fighting on that land bank, to not only ensure that we stayed invested, but to force the county to be invested in her vision of making sure that every single citizen, or as many citizens as we can provide affordable, real home ownership opportunities to, that we do it. And whether we do it by one, 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 100 by 100. Each one needs to be celebrated. And I want to take a step. I know we will get to the point where we cut a ribbon. I know we'll get to a point where we accept a family into it. But so many times and in so many arenas, the people that I get the chance to sit next to are talked about, bemoaned, said that more should be done, and talked about in a way that is so negative that we don't often get the times to say thank you for the work that it takes over years to provide opportunities to the people who we call citizens, to the people we call neighbors, and to the people whom we love. And so for a moment, not only to this commission, to the before commission, to Commissioner Gwen Atkinson Williams, to making sure they had the credit right, right? Making sure they were set up. Because half of taking an opportunity is being ready for the opportunity.
Right.
So having a commissioner who got us ready for the opportunity and having a commissioner who fought, because it takes money and effort and investment to make sure that there is an opportunity. As your mayor, I just want to stop and say thank you.
Mr. Mayor, now we can't forget our lovely attorney over there.
Come on.
He has the final almost.
Oh, no. And listen to staff, to Regina, to Jeremiah, to Chelsea, came on, jumped in the middle of it. John, who keeps us on track, tells us all of what we can and can't do, even when we're trying to do more than we can. It is a group effort to just get to this point. So I'm beyond thankful for the team that resides here in Brunswick. So with that, if there are no more comments and questions, I'll open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the authorization for new construction on city-owned property at 2228 Amherst Street for affordable homeownership program.
Hearing the first, do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing the first and a second. All those in favor show by the usual sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion is passed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we're going to turn it over to our city attorney, and Commissioner Atkinson Williams already packed up. So you got to move quick. You got
We can go.
3.5 minutes, 4 minutes per, But with that, we'll move on to number 8, consider adoption of ordinance 1090, amendment to chapter 14, motorized vehicles.
Yes. And I can be quick. This has the first item that you have before you is related to the recreational vehicle ordinance that was, I think, discussed at length at the last city commission meeting. There were not any substantive changes. There were not any comments received by the public. And so the changes that you saw in red line at the last city commission meeting were accepted. I do think there's a couple small tweaks we made as a result of some of the discussion, but nothing substantial, nothing substantive. And so it is available for approval tonight.
Any questions or comments for ordinance number 1090?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 1090, the amendment to chapter 14, the motorized vehicle ordinance.
Hearing the first, do I hear a second? Hearing the first and a second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, the motion passes. We'll now move on to number 9, which I know will be some discussion. Consider adoption of ordinance 1091, amendment to chapter 13, article 2, food trucks.
And so this one does have red lines in your packet. Again, though, I don't believe we had any comments received from the general public, but this one does show red line changes as a result of the discussion at the last city commission meeting. If there are questions, I tried to address the concerns as it relates to how we cite to the noise ordinance and how we are treating the hours of operation as it relates to the location I went back and forth with John Hunter. John did point out that we limit already the area of operation for a food truck to non-residential properties. We do that in that first section under 13-29. And so I wanted to we have to address the fact that even though we do limit it to non-residential areas, there's almost certainly going to be a possibility that a food truck is operating on a properly zoned piece of property, but that is still immediately adjacent to a residential property. And we don't want the noise, pollution, and whatever else may emanate from that area to affect the residential properties located adjacent to that. So I know it seems maybe too complex. I had to type it out, put it back, type it out, put it back. But what I do believe we've done is addressed hours of operation blanketed as to residential adjacent zoning, meaning if you are located closely or adjacent to a piece of residentially zoned property, your hours of operation are 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. or excuse me, you shall not operate between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. And then under non-residential zoning, we expand those hours and state that you can operate between, you cannot operate between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. on weekdays, but then expand it again. And on weekends, and those are defined herein, you can operate at all times except for from 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. on weekends. All right. So go ahead.
Questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Question. Oh, just so everyone knows who may be listening in, food truck ordinance, we are jumping into discussing hours of operation for residential adjacent food truck parks or food trucks versus non-residential food truck parks or food trucks.
What are the hours of operation for the I'm gonna give an example, the parks that are by residential areas, like the one on the corner of Norwich and 4th Street? Or just non-residential, because right across the street is Norwich Street.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. When you said Norwich, obviously we've had
But-
one recently approved, but on 4th Street further up,
Further up.
much further away from down. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm
Corner of Norwich
familiar.
and 4th. I mean,
That would fall under the non-residential zoning because I believe that is non-residential because it is immediately on Norwich Street. And they would be able to operate at any time except for 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. on weekdays and 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. on weekends. And that we've tied that. It's odd. I know it seems like it's reversed, but it's easier to regulate when you cannot operate than when you can. So what it's essentially doing is looking at the same way we have it set out in our noise ordinances, the same way you'd see it in an alcohol ordinance that says it's usually in the negative. You cannot serve from 12 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning. That is the same way we're doing this here, is you cannot operate from this time to this time. And then you are free typically during the normal business hours to operate as you see fit. On the weekdays, I did kind of look around. I noticed that there are some other ordinances out there that on weekdays allow food trucks to operate much earlier in the morning, because it's most often that they are at job sites, construction sites that are getting up and running very early in the morning. That might be a violation of our newly adopted recreational vehicle ordinance. In looking at that, I would consider that to be a non-residential zoning. So if I were to say what hours you could operate non-residential, you could open at 5:01 a.m. and operate until 11 p.m. on weekdays. On weekends, you could operate beginning at 7:01 a.m. and you would need to close operations at essentially 11:59 p.m. The easiest way.
and I know this is not, and this is for discussion, but did we receive feedback from the police department, from the chief or assistant chief, that will this added hours be cumbersome for our department, just in case? I mean, I know they have to obey like the crowd control?
There's nothing in the food. No.
Because-
The easiest answer is that just
Okay.
no.
But if they become a nuisance, like noise too noisy, I'm just giving an example, because mainly on Altama Avenue, you have that large parking lot and lots of cars be out there. Just in case, are they supposed to have their own security to control the, just in case a rowdy crowd or what could possibly happen? I'm just curious.
I mean, no, there's not a current, I think the most often situation would be a food truck operating during these hours would just have those patrons that would be coming. I mean, you're not allowed to have seating areas and attract and keep. The idea behind the ordinance and some of the regulations are in there is that you're not keeping people in the immediate vicinity of the truck. The idea is to come get food and you're off you go. So I think that no, there's nothing in there about that. I think that if they, in that circumstance, maybe if there was a park or if there was a special event, that would trigger a different requirement under the special event permit, that if they had multiple trucks in an area, yeah, they'd have to go into those requirements that would be, managed through the city manager's office through an event permit that says you need to have receptacle, you need to have additional items, security, if that's what's required, people marking off areas, that type of stuff. But this is really just talking about like a general food truck that drives into the parking lot out near the old Striplings and opens up shop there.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
My question was, and I don't have a question, I'm just stating it. So what we're doing up here, and I know all this, I know that we're actually extending them to be open, right? We're extending.
Yes, you are.
There was always an ordinance that they were supposed to shut off, right? An ordinance that probably was created long before I even thought about running for office. I'm just saying
Yes,
this
correct.
because people see a headline in the paper and think, so we're actually extending the hours for food trucks to be able to sell later.
Yes.
Because there was a time always in place, but it exceeded hours. So.
And there was a little bit of a contradiction.
Right, just,
That it's being cleaned up in favor of operating
that is correct.
longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just asking the question when it comes to, because now I'm thinking about La Playa that's about to open, right? And they've already told us their business hours, which will actually have food. Like, how does that work now with food trucks that are located other places versus them, which are also located across from residential? I'm just asking so everyone can have an understanding.
Yeah, and that is a non-residentially zoned property, and I do think because it is technically, I believe it's much zoned, so it would, I think even if there was a piece of property in that immediate vicinity of that particular location that was being used for residential purposes, I don't believe it is zoned residential. I think in looking at like Norwich, a lot of the areas of Norwich, and we see it as you move further out of downtown, there is only like a single layer of non-residential zoning that's immediately adjacent to the residential behind it. But down closer to Gloucester, it becomes, I believe, much zoning. So they would not be affected by the differential between residential adjacent and non-residential.
Okay, just was asking because it's a house. My friend lives right across the street, then there's a house that's next to it. So I'm just asking. So it will be different because there will be food trucks that are actually allowed to be on their premises, so they're good.
Yeah.
Which will probably work out for
And I think if I recall correctly with La Playa, I do believe that even as it's being amended, they made it clear that they would not be operating. I mean, no matter what, a food truck's not allowed to operate on any property past midnight. I mean, that's essentially the easiest way. Yep. Yep.
because,
And they are not under any circumstances allowed to operate in a manner that would violate the noise ordinance. So.
and just asking,
Yep.
thank you.
Understood.
Additional questions or comments? Here none, we'll open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 1091, amendment to chapter 13, article 2, food trucks.
Here the
Second.
first, do I hear a second? Here in the
Second.
first and a second. All those in favor, show by usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Hearing none, the motion passes. We'll now open it for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to adjourn.
Hearing the first and the second, all those in favor show by a sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Hearing none, we are adjourned. I think Brian.